All right. Anyway, with that, we've got one more set to go through. A bronze division game, I believe. And
Yeah.
we got Turnipboy, very dominant player last season, and Degran. Are they new this season?
No, they
No.
played in SCL4 as well.
All right.
Yeah.
All
No,
right.
part of that challenger class. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, there were what 100, about 100 players in there.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah. Pretty crazy. Such a huge influx, and now they're dispersed throughout all these divisions.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, let's get through these picks and bans. All right, the first ban, unfortunately. We will not see any more balcony.
Oh, very unfortunate.
Yeah.
What a pain.
What a sad. Yeah. What a sad day for us. The
no.
next ban, veranda.
Yeah.
I believe
Standard for Turnipboy.
I believe
right?
Turnipboy is just not a veranda fan. Yes. All right, we will get some more aquarium. Four more rounds of aquarium.
It's we're gonna get waterlogged by the end of this cast.
Yep,
I swear we're
yep.
gonna be pruny with all the time we're spending in aquarium.
Yep. And finally, we get some courtyard.
Hey, there we go. You know, I don't like casting courtyard all the time, but at least once a night, sure.
Oh, and I got the picks and bans backwards.
I mean,
let me
that's
just do that.
that's a very popular venue in
Yep.
bronze, to say the least.
All right. Anyway,
And now seeing that it's Turnipboy who picked it, then it makes.
and we
100%
will hopefully get to some more
see a pub
gallery.
as well. I'm assuming.
And then the final pick out of Turnipboy, high rise.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, let's get into that aquarium.
Yeah. Now, Degran or Degran? Is it Degran?
I don't know. I've been saying
I say
Degran,
Degran.
but
Degran. Yeah, Degran it's too fancy for me.
yeah.
Degran,
I mean,
yeah.
it fits the game though.
That's true. Upscale usernames only are on theme. So Degran, they have a spy win rate this season of 47%, which is roughly identical to last year, but the story has been that their sniper win rate has dropped 20%, 62 to 42. And Turnipboy's numbers are almost exactly the same this year in Copper as they were last year in Challenger, despite the increased competition. So the advantage here in this set is Turnipboy's spy against Degran's sniper. If Turnipboy wins, I think it's going to be on the strength of several spy wins.
Yeah, no, certainly. I mean, Turnipboy's spy pretty solid, sniper pretty solid. Came, I think, third in regular season of Challenger last season, and then second in the
tournament to Lazy Bear, yeah.
In the tournament, and then won their hazard match after that to secure promotion. So, really strong player, and one of the favorites you would have to think to come out of bronze on top.
Absolutely.
All right, and I am ready to go. Got everything loaded up. Just count us down when ready.
All right, let's get into it then. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. Queen to start us off. Degran, the first spy on their pick of aquarium, going to AI control to the bar here. And Ambassador saddles on up, and it's blocked by the shark, but Degran, not quite confident with that angle, will not go for the shot. The question is, will that be a bug credited nonetheless?
Yeah, that's what normally happens, yeah. And Degran has really leaned into Aquarium, has already played a dozen games on it, even though it's only been available for about half the season so far. And they're exactly 50-50 on both Spy and Sniper.
I'm going to pick up the briefcase and a fingerprint here. And if Turnipboy was already worried that Queen may have bugged, then this pacing will worry them even more so. We'll have to see how that influences any shots in the future of this game. Degran at 3 minutes on the clock, going to step close to the seduction target for their first flirt here. It's going to make it nice and easy with a green test for 51%.
And we have a lot of early soft tail progress. This game can go just about any way now.
I have to see how Degran wants to play it. It seems like a lot of people leaning into the fingerprint on Aquarium here rather than using the shark for hard tells, which, I mean, it's a little bit of a surprise to me given how powerful the shark is. playing it more like a ballroom or a gallery, I suppose, which is fine. That's a good method of playing 4 of 8 venues, and very successful method as well, but not as exciting as a spectator.
Whatever it's going to be, I think it's probably going to be statueless from Degran, unless they go to get a couple inspects and 1 fingerprint to complete that mission. They complete inspect less than 20% of the time, so I'd expect multiple hardtails or the old hardtail fingerprint mix in a lot of these spy games, and this one in particular.
Second flirt's 85%. 2 minutes left on the clock here. Gonna start a fake contact. Pretty good as well. So many people in the conversations that have STAs, and will we get some lowlights here from Turnipboy, assuming real? Looks like we're just taking lowlights for outside of conversation. This does mean that if Degran wants to contact, they're going to have to do so a second time, which gives more information to the sniper. You always have to assume that second contact is either real or covering for something, and if you can confirm it covered for nothing, then you assume real.
It's actually very impressive that Turnipboy was able to get 4 lowlights from that, because there was a lot of movement late, right around the BB going off, people entering and leaving conversation. I didn't think they were going to get more than 2, but the fact that they managed to get all 4 of those actually means that even not assuming real, they get a pretty decent number.
Really thought that Degran was going to swap that statue there and frame the twin who's on their second inspect and had a real contact. Instead, we go for a drink with the fingerprint on it to complete our second mission here. Degran looking to finish themselves rather than framing AIs onto the aquarium. Seduce is completed. Double agent is in conversation. We step into conversation. Looks like we're going to do a contact, and then potentially we're going to delegate to the Bling twin.
They didn't choose a delegate. They just
they
picked up a
didn't
drink.
take it. You're right. Yeah,
Very strange. You think that's perfect right there. You get the delegate and the fingerprint, and as for swapping, well, that's actually their least completed mission. Only 14% of the time. They really look like they want to avoid statues this game if at all possible, because inspects, statue highlights, such a crutch for snipers on aquarium.
We took a last sip. 18 seconds left. Looks like we are going to go to the statues here to try and complete, or step in for a time ad. It is going to be the time ad white test at the back window. Now looking to step into statues to try and pretend we were never there. Will Turnipboy be on top of this? Is the question. Using the shark quite well here, and gets the low light for it. Degran potentially going to run away with this game through a really excellent usage of the shark here. 40 seconds left on the clock. 1 inspect completed at this side statue. Degran, how are we looking to finish it? You have to assume inspects to finish it. Will we go for it now?
Inspect swap, it's their 2 least completed missions. They really don't want to do that, but what else are they going to do to finish? I don't think they can tell for sure that they're low lit though.
You have to assume high lit based on the laser movement. There's no reason to assume you're low lit. Contact going to come through here. Real contact, 12 seconds. We don't have enough time to finish this unless we go for the bug right now. Will we go for the bug? Degran lining up for it on the ambassador, who's moving away from the conversation. It doesn't connect. Second attempt does, but Turnipboy sees it. And that's going to be the shot coming through.
What a recovery. So many chances to win. If the Amba doesn't leave, we win. If the Amba bumps a little differently, we win. Instead, Turnipboy had just enough time to low light their suspects, regroup, look around, and see a low light bugging. A second earlier, and I think that's just a win.
Wow. Only our first game of this series track and already feeling the hype.
One game and I've aged a year already, I think. And boy, could you tell from that game that Degran does not like finishing his statues, does not like inspecting, does not like swapping. They really didn't seem to want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, all you have to do is shimmy on over to the statues to your left, inspect, swap, and you're done. But Degran really didn't want to play that game, wanted to finish in a different way. Potentially a little bit too stubborn in their spy plan. We'll have to track that and see if that comes back to haunt them again. Turnipboy now spying as Irish here. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Turnipboy's mission spread is much more wide. Turnipboy just does missions, not only in that he hasn't timed out this season, but also in that he completes all the missions when they're active at least 20% of the time. That's almost unheard of. Seduce gets done 3/4 of the time, Contact more than half the time, but the other 6 missions all completed between 20 and 33% of the time. So you know he's going to try to get to that countdown. You just never know how.
Mid-shark, and we're going to go for the bug across conversation. Doesn't connect, so we double back and go for a second. Doesn't connect! Turnipboy shaking his head in anger. How does 2 bugs fail like that? But it was behind the shark, so it doesn't matter, track.
Ugh, too many bugs. Call the exterminator. That's disgusting. He's so mad. You're going to get credited with those anyway. You make 2 attempts, 0 for 2. And one more strike and you're out, buddy.
One more strike and you win. One of the two. Turnipboy known for his spy play, fairly clean as well. Using the shark cover very well because, you know, normally that would be getting you shot. But realistically speaking, the shark blocked the majority of that attempt. And Degran's none the wiser. Only us get to share in the shame that Turnipboy's currently feeling. As long as you've got a good mental to yourself tracking, you can reset off of those 2 failed attempts and just play the spy game out like you want to. It's as if it never happened. No one saw it, right?
Everything looks the same behind the shark. Yeah, and boy, the ambassador just does not want to get bugged in this match, do they?
I mean, they almost walked into it there. Small man of all characters saves them from it. Second flirt. Green test, 85%. 2 minutes and 13 seconds on the clock here. I believe that's the first of the 2 lower sharks. The second one will come through. If Turnipboy wanted to attempt another bug behind the shark, then an opportunity is coming. But it seems like we're going to try something different this time. There is a fingerprint on that far left statue, and I believe Turnipboy is eyeing it up.
And you can't resist soft-tail progress across 2 mission sites here. Not suspicious, no top shark, right in the middle of the game. And this opens the game up now because you have partial progress across 3 different missions and you still have contact.
Here comes the last flirt. Green test from far range. All we needed was a white. Going to pick up a drink as well for a potential delegate in the last hour of this game. Delegate does come out. Is there a briefcase to pick up over there? Turnipboy's looking for it, but you can see the Seek now has it. Do we look for a bug on this this path? No. Instead, going to step inside a conversation. Standing next to Till, what Turnipboy doesn't know is Till is the suspected double agent. Top Shark comes across. Turnipboy knows that a mid shark's coming shortly. May attempt to delegate on the mid shark and really just try and hide the action here behind sharks. There it is, the delegate onto Till. Remember, it is cast, but Turnipboy doesn't know that. We have to keep that in mind. Now looking for the contact himself. May look to try and distract from the purloin as it happens as well. Degran's looking at it, staring it down. Here comes the contact. Here comes the purloin. How does Degran react? Lowlight's coming through. Potentially hasn't seen that the guest list is gone just yet.
And the DA leaves too, so if they are slow to react to that moment with the purloin coming off, they might not even credit a reel, and now an Inspector fingerprint's going to win this game.
There's going to be a fingerprint at the blue bookshelf. Turnipboy looking to make this work with shark cover as well. Going to hide him for so long on this mission win countdown. Pretty much going to be behind the shark when the beeps come in 3 seconds. No shot coming through, and Turnipboy has cover. This is a spy when there's no way you can make the shot as Degran, and Turnipboy pulls it back.
Very hard to shoot. Yeah, especially inspects are not done. You only went to get the fingerprint. We space things out so well. We delegate to cast, then we cover with the BB, and the double agent obliges by leaving. And even though we waited a pretty long time to bake that banana bread, it comes out beautiful.
Yeah, that's really nice stuff from Turnipboy. And after, let's get a cam on it because it's too good, Kletos. After the double bug attempts failing, I mean, I want to watch it from sniper cam, not spy cam, just to showcase
it's like
how
staring
strong
at a
these
wall.
can be.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume they were completely behind the sniper, but I could be wrong. Behind the shark, that is.
Yep. All right,
Yeah, more or less.
And
you saw, I mentioned that Turnipboy has just an incredible spread of mission progress in general. You saw it in that game. You know, partial across one of the missions they didn't do, so many options late. They just have a really good command of the party. They managed to keep their kind of branching options open really impressively.
Looks like you could see a little bit of footwork going on.
The jitterbug, yes.
I mean, still very clean attempts coming through from Turnipboy, and such a shame that it just didn't connect. Yeah, you really would have been feeling pressure in the moment, but still, I mean, that's good usage of the shark. Like, pretty much invisible, and if you got away with the bug, that game would have been a little bit easier.
Yeah, but you said it exactly right. You have to mentally reset as spy and realize that even though you feel so vulnerable that you tried to do that you were so obvious, not playing it cool, not being like a spy at all, the shark was covering for you. So as far as you know, it's totally clean, and you just need to move forward and play cool from that point forward. And they do, and they win easy.
That's true. Shep, bringing up a good point that sometimes we don't get to see the sniper's shark, but we can assume that it was pretty hidden.
Yeah, pretty
considering
close.
the fact that Degran didn't shoot.
Yeah,
Either way.
That's the big giveaway.
Yeah. Degran now spying as Cowboy here on the second round of Aquarium here. Currently Turnipboy 2-0. Let's see how this goes down in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, psychologically, you feel vulnerable when something like that doesn't happen. But the thing is, if it's not seen, then the number one way you're going to beat yourself is by feeling like more of a suspect than you are.
Certainly. Degran loves to AI control, and both times the AI has taken us to the bar. And if there's one person in bronze that I wouldn't attempt to delegate Purloin against, it's Turnipboy. Such a monster when it comes to pub specifically. Degran going to attempt to bug behind the shark. How suspicious will this be to Turnipboy? Turnipboy would have got a little bit of an idea on Cowboy's pathing before the shark covered up general. No highlights just yet, though. Degran may have got away with it for now. Nope, here it is. The highlights of suspicion. Both Wheels and Cowboy could have bugged in that moment, and I want to watch them from now on.
Yeah, one thing I like about that, though, is that they didn't bug and move on to stay away from the ambassador. They bugged and kind of planted themselves next to them. I think that's just a little more AI-like. Normally, you'd want to bug and be done with it. In this case, they stay in a buggable position after the bug. Nice little kind of Yomi there, I think.
The highlights do get adjusted, so maybe Turnipboy is tracking something else instead with the highlight. Here comes a Purloin attempt, but it feels a little bit too late to me. Yeah, it is. Delegate timer expires. Degran's done this twice now, though. Attempted to Purloin with the delegate option after the timer expires. Now, I don't know if Degran's doing that purposely just to put pressure on the sniper to watch for another person who could potentially Purloin, or if they're actually attempting the mission. But even so, when a sniper has some suspicion on your warning track, seeing you talk, seeing the character go out of conversation to the bar, it still puts the pressure on you that you think they might be Purloining. When it doesn't happen, I often find as a sniper that I still watch that character regardless.
Yeah, it only makes sense to cover for something, or to specifically delegate to someone to force them to take a fingerprint. Other than that, I don't think it really applies meaningful pressure in a useful way to a good sniper.
First flirt, 34% at 2 minutes and 25 seconds on the clock. The double agent leaves our conversation as well. This game is not looking good for Degran. Going to have to be a little bit speedier towards the end. Yeah, we got the bug pass, but we need some more pressure. We need some more progress. Here comes the second flirt. This one is going to be another white test. 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock, and we need a contact, but the double agent isn't in conversation. We need a flirt, but we have to wait another 45 seconds for it. Degran, will we play this calm and collected, or are we going to take matters into our own hands? Looks like we'll do the latter.
Yeah, Degran will make these missions happen. They complete Seduce over 70% of the time and contact 82% of the time, which, if you don't know, is insanely high. They make sure to get those soft tells done every time, and with bug already done and maybe mostly clean or not a big suspect for it, it'd be a real pity to lose for not completing those of all things.
Stepping into the bookshelf here. Gonna put it back, just wasting time. Now I'm gonna look for that third flirt to finish the mission, get our second on the board. Double agent is now in conversation as well, meaning that we can go for the contact. It's the last mission that I'm wondering about. What does Degran have in mind here? We stop talk, looking to try and step into the green bookshelf where I believe there's a fingerprint. Can we get it? Yeah, we can. Where's the ambassador, though? Currently standing in conversation. There is a fingerprint at bar, smudged by red dress, I believe. This is going to be a rush for Degran to finish if he's going to be able to do so. Steps in for the contact. 17 seconds on the clock. Green test. Now we need to split and look for the difficult fingerprint. Turnipboy indicating that could be red dress the spy. Instead, we're going to go to statue. 6 seconds on the clock. Can we even swap in time is the question. No, fingerprint. Finishing with a fingerprint. 9 seconds. Mission win countdown. Turnipboy looking for the statue. Sees that it's not swapped. Now reconsiders. Goes to Walker. Takes the shot on her. The fingerprint just too good. And Turnipboy just too patient.
He stared at that character for like 2 to 3 seconds. He was lining up the shot, but then I guess he thought, no, this doesn't make sense. They haven't been to statues. There's no swap. Even though the timing told them it's Cowboy. The timing said it's Cowboy, but everything else said it's not. There's no swap. They haven't inspected before. It must be somebody else. Wait, it can't be Hair. She's sipping. What's she been doing? She couldn't have just finished Flirt. Who's left? Someone else at statues, and that's all it is. I love seeing those gears turn in the moment, the full 10 seconds used.
Wow. That is incredible. That print must have been there for ages because I don't even remember the ambassador being at that statue. I'm going to scrub back and find it. Fingerprint put on the statue at 2 minutes. It had sat there for 2 minutes unsmudged.
And
he was aware of it. Degran was aware of it.
That's fantastic, first of all, on Degran's part. And that is actually a highly skilled loss from Turnipboy. I want to compliment that miss shot because in the moment, like I said, the timing says Cowboy, but his mission count felt good. And it was because you can't really plan around a 2-minute fingerprint on Aquarium of all things. So even though his timing says it's this character, he has the presence of mind to think about the missions and go, this doesn't really make sense. And he's right. It didn't really make sense. It was very unusual. So he actually reconsidered and managed to get a reasonable shot off before the countdown was done. So even though it was wrong, his thought process was dead on.
Do we give him a point for good shot?
Yeah, we give him a moral victory and a literal loss, which is not much comfort right there. But he still has the lead, so maybe he can live with it. I think that's a very, very impressive miss shot and a very impressive spy game from Degran, too.
All right. And, I'm already ready with the next one.
Wow,
Go for it.
unreal.
Wow.
Aquarium hyping us up. Turnipboy spying as general in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I particularly like the lean during all the shot considerations. Made the whole thing feel that much crazier and kinetic.
You have to wonder what this does to your mentality heading on into this match now. It's a game where you considered you were correct for so long and everything didn't quite line up the way you expected it to be. You reconsider, you take the wrong shot. Can you keep strong, Turnipboy, after such a hard loss of a sniper game? To take a spy game here on Aquarium, very doable, and come out of the first map pick, venue pick 3-1.
Yeah, it's the wrong shot, but absolutely for the right reasons. And on one hand, that can feel really bad, but if it were me, I'd actually probably feel okay about it. You can't really account for the party lining up that way, and for the spy having that kind of awareness the whole game and playing it exactly right.
Turnipboy, 68% on the Flirt. Delegate ready to go. Currently staring the bar down, of all things. Maybe just considering the people who could be there. Now going to Delegate to Cowboy. Picks up the fingerprintable briefcase. Needs to stop, and he does so. I like this play here because it kind of makes it look a little bit less like you delegated.
Yep. And Middle Shark is covering right now, and I don't think Degran has seen this list yet. How are they going to react? They might not have much of an idea here.
They see the list is gone now. At least they had the ability to do so. No lights have come out, so maybe they haven't seen it just yet. It's very early on.
Oh my goodness.
Timing doesn't quite make sense.
After they saw the bar was blank, they low-lit Smallman, the laser hesitated over Seek, and then did nothing else. I think that was so telling right there. That was, oh goodness, I was not expecting that. I have no idea who could have done it. I get one low light out of it.
Another fingerprint coming through from Turnipboy from the green bookshelf in just a second here. And after that, all we need is a contact, and the double agent is standing directly behind us. This could be a very clean, very swift spy win coming through from Turnipboy. And what a confident statement made after that sniper loss to go, yeah, you know what, actually, I'm pretty good at this game, and I can bring it back. This is the telling moment. Can Degran make the shot? The highlight, the safety off comes through. The shot comes through. Wow. Degran says, nah, pal, I'm bringing it back to this series tied to a piece.
I'm really impressed by that shot. I guess it was the opposite thing. I always say that if you don't see those lowlights come off, if you don't see highlights come off when they should, one of two things has happened. The snipers missed something completely, or they are completely on it so they don't have to bother with lights because they're already tunneling on someone. I actually really like how Turnipboy played that. I think it was a great spy game. I love that he grabs the book, before the banana bread to indicate, clearly I have one more mission to do, don't shoot for this. But it doesn't matter because Degran apparently is actually completely on what was actually a very solid Purloin at a very counterintuitive time.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. And I mean, the fingerprint was fairly aggressive. You're taking the briefcase, you're returning it to the ambassador whilst they're at bookshelf, and then you're taking the fingerprint from that bookshelf. Certainly an aggressive fingerprint attempt, but it just didn't feel like one that was going to get shot for. But Degran was on top of it. Now we're tied to a piece, heading on to Courtyard, which is Turnipboy's home venue in SCL. And a venue that's very difficult to really do something new in. Aquarium's a venue you can do something new in. Every time you have that chance to be the first to do that. But on Courtyard, it's been done 1,000 times before. Which option does Degran opt into here? In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
If you're Turnipboy, you are very frustrated because you have just played 4 very good games and you're only 2-2.
This is bronze track. It's a very difficult division to be in right now. So many strong players from last season have ended up in it. And all are trying to fight for those top 2 positions so they have a shot at the tournament of position, a shot of promoting into silver or gold where they want to be, where some of them have the skill to compete. But they have to make it work in their own division now. Degran starts things off with a 28% flirt, and we're going to flirt across conversation for our second here. This time, going to be another white test, meaning that we're kind of behind the buck here. We have to full flirt at minimum.
Yeah, but they're going to. I mentioned those complete rates on Inspect and Contact. Even when they were running low on time in Aquarium, I had so little doubt they were going to complete them because they almost always complete both those missions. I think they're going to rush the flirt if they have to, make sure it all gets done.
Banana bread.
Contact comes through. 1 low light taken by Turnipboy, a second onto a high-lit small man, which is worth 3 in Track's mind.
You're convincing me. I'll bump it down to 2, and I'll also point out that the 2 fullest conversations were both SDA conversations. So even if we want to assume real at some point, we'd only have a couple more lowlights available to us. That was an exceptional banana bread.
It's our third flirt for 69%. Really going to leave things down to a last second flirt attempt. Of course, if we can snuggle up close, get the green test, then the 4 flirt works. But if we don't, then it's a 5 flirt on Courtyard. It's scary territory to be in.
Yeah, you really need this one. And my guess is they're going to prioritize it because they've been prioritizing it all season.
Gran has not left this position in conversation for the last 2.5 minutes. Now the seduction target steps out themselves and forces our hand. Looks like we're going towards an instant conversation, a bit of a wobbly path. A minute left on the clock. Potentially a time ad will be the play. We're eyeing up a briefcase, but are there enough fingerprints on the venue to really consider fingerprint this late? Grant looking to step up into the conversation, but there is no space. It was deceivingly too full for us. The watch check comes through, but it's not a time ad. No one's leaving that conversation either, and so we can't flirt. How does Degran want to play this game? Are we going to time out with 30 seconds left on the clock?
We're just
the time
bouncing around. Yep, it's completely off screen. The ambassador is at statues. That was completely off screen. They got back into the conversation before it happened because the ambassador and the guest list were opposite the spy.
Low lights will come through. Turnipboy didn't see who done it, but he does know who didn't. And is going to take a couple of those low lights. Of course, the great thing about a slow ticking clock is that it means the spy needs time to finish, and that gives us some time to try and figure this one out. Hits the green test, that's huge. He needed that so desperately, but we still have so many missions to complete here. 40 seconds left on the clock. Degran close to the ambassador may attempt a bug, but looks like Turnipboy is watching it. No bug comes through. 30 seconds now for Degran to make a decision. We're about to head into the hanging 0-0s for Turnipboy's clock as well.
Degran likes to purloin more than bug, so that's a little more likely.
White. This time it seems like Turnipboy saw it. Look at that rotation. Highlights and a couple of lowlights to come through, and or maybe not. Maybe we're just going to stare Alice down and wait for her to finish.
I don't see how she can finish now. You're going to need the AI to do something wild.
The good news is that because we white time added, there will be no overtime beeps. which means Turnipboy now has to make the decision if someone's finished or not. He won't have the confirmation. Drink offer comes through. We requested it, and it's going to be an innocent one as well. Degran's playing a game of chicken, and we've seen this work already tonight in other matches.
We haven't seen it
How
work
confident?
against a sniper, the caliber of Turnipboy, though. This is a different level.
How confident are you going to be, Turnipboy? As
This
Walt
can mess
steps
with you.
in for a second inspect. Twin, who's had a couple, Fingerprint steps in for an inspect of his own. Here comes a Purloin attempt again. This time it's a white test, and we're going to confirm it. Turnipboy will find the shot onto Degran, a successful shot indeed, and takes a point on Courtyard.
Yeah, just nice and calm from Turnipboy. It's so easy to lose your cool in that moment, but it's not going to work at this level. Turnipboy just too good and too disciplined, and we saw earlier from the way they followed up that difficult sniper loss with the spy game they played that they are a cool customer, and they just play a solid game each time out, not going to be rattled by all that weird time ad shenanigans.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive stuff coming through from both Turnipboy and Degran to play the game of chicken towards the end here. Courtyard, so difficult to find those spy wins in. Really has to be a clean hardtail attempt, and Turnipboy to attempt it in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
That's another version of Courtyard Chicken, I guess, yeah. And once again, Degran completed those 2 missions, their 2 favorite, but in this case, nothing else until the very end.
Start off with a flirt very swiftly here. Turnipboy going to sit in conversation and see out the talk animation. Not going to complete a lap around the courtyard. Disappointed.
Every game you hope for it, right? You think maybe this is the one.
I mean, I've been trying to showcase it in some of my SCL matches, show that it works to anyone who's like watching, looking for the hot courtyard techs. The flirt lap.
I haven't played Courtyard in a while, but maybe next time, okay? I got you. And we are in the closest, one of the closest characters to a little race car too. She's perfect for it. She would make a quick lap.
Yeah, certainly. Not the fastest, but definitely nowhere near the slowest. Contact does come through. It's a good one as well. Not many lowlights available to Degran. Now, Turnipboy gets his second flirt as well. We have 2 fingerprints available to us, one in the conversation as in the form of the briefcase, one at that statue just behind us. Turnipboy staring down the statue, keeping a track of all of the possibilities here. Looks like the briefcase will be claimed by a highlight of all people. That's good stuff for Turnipboy.
And looks like we're just going to timer flirt here, and then we're going to be stuck where we normally are. There'll be a little over a minute left. We'll have the 2 soft tails done. No inspect yet. And we're going to have to decide what's it going to be. And the fact there's no fingerprint yet might limit those options.
Fingerprint at the statue has just been smudged as well.
Might be
We
better.
could play a 50-50 game, though, on this, and I wouldn't mind it. Head over to that statue and play a game of did salmon green swap or did I white swap?
Yep, it's off screen
Inspect's
too.
gonna come through off screen. Looks like Turnipboy hasn't gone for the swap just yet. Here comes the swap now. Oh, it happens as well. And who is it going to be? Is it going to be Salmon or is it going to be Turnipboy? Second fingerprint as well coming through for Salmon. Oh, no way you hold this shot, Degran. It has to be Salmon. Surely the AI is giving you the narrative. No shots come through. Surprisingly,
neither of them.
no shots come through. What?
Well, if you'd asked me what's going to happen here, my options might have been, okay, maybe Turnipboy gets shot, most likely outcome. Salmon gets shot, next most likely outcome, pretty close to 49% each. 2%, nobody gets shot, is what I would have said. And yet that's what happens. Turnipboy just tries to frame him for the swap. By the way, could have white swapped and left.
Oh, no. Track. Look at the statues.
Oh, no.
3,
Did he not...
2 is one of
It's
them.
the rotate.
The other
It's
one's
the
1,
rotate.
2.
Oh, I hate it when that
Switches it to
happens.
the same. Oh, that kills me. I've fallen to this so many times when a statue set gets swapped to the exact same statue set as the other.
Yes.
Sometimes you just don't consider the statue's been swapped.
Every time, this used to burn me until I started to make a point to say 3-2 left, 2-3 right. And I would repeat the left and the right to myself every time, because in the moment, yes, you have to look back up at the statue and see what side you're on. It's very annoying to have to do it. In most games, it doesn't matter, but every now and then, it absolutely burns you. And in this case, it burns you on a 50-50 in a competitive setting. The funny thing is, though, by the way, if Turnipboy had just white swapped and bailed, they would have never even been seen at statues. They had a lot of time there.
Yeah. If that was the case, then that's unfortunate for Degran, and I don't really understand why you don't shoot otherwise. Because at that point, you have to assume with contact done, clock starting to beep, inspects happening late, that someone has to be done. There was the second fingerprint coming through for Salmon as well. I don't know why you don't make that shot otherwise, but anyway, regardless, Turnipboy takes the spy win 4-2 on Courtyard. The Grand now has to bring it back with a spy win themselves as general in 3-2-1 playing it.
And Turnipboy has now just played a good game every single time. They have made very few mistakes. It's kind of shocking, really. They lost a brutal aquarium game in very understandable fashion, and their spy games have maximized their chances of winning time after time. Degran has taken some really good shots. This has just been a tremendously well-played set.
Yeah, this has been excellent stuff from these two competitors. And the bronze division has so many strong participants in it, with Turnipboy, Degran, Pox, Shep, Ryu, David W.
Oh, goodness.
It's a disgusting division to be in right now. And the crazy thing is that neither of these two are near the top. Turnipboy's close. But when you look at the actual score lines, it's actually unreal how many people are within points of each other. A very scary division to be in indeed right now. Turnipboy the closest of making a run towards victory, with one more match left to play after this versus Ryu. Degran's just a little bit out of reach, and I think this is their final match of the season as well. So even with a win here, they just can't quite make it to the tournament position. At least for Turnipboy, they can. Maybe even run at first, depending on results between Shep and I believe it's Amlabella. Either way, crazy division to be in, and you can see why just through this game alone.
It's crazy, and what I really appreciate about Turnipboy in particular is just the consistency. Just every game maximizing that chance of winning, just over and over again. Some players you see crazy swings, right? They kind of go on tilt, they do something aggressive, it doesn't work, they try something crazy and creative, and it does. You see even some of the best players have that a variation in their play quality. Turnipboy is just a machine. It's just relentless, just good game after good game after good game, forces you to play your best to beat him.
Wouldn't it be insane that 2 seasons in a row we see such excellent play from Turnipboy and they finish third in bronze, like they did in Challenger?
Yep.
Just put in to the lion's den and unfortunately not quite finding themselves to be the alpha in the division.
Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier about Silver, just no shame to being not near the top in some of these divisions because they're so stacked. Somebody, some great player is going to be left out in the cold.
Grand's completed all of the Softails on this Courtyard match. And with 30 seconds left, they need to find a hardtail. Will it be a statue swap, a purloin, or an inspect? He's requested Toby over. Makes the contact. Going to look for the purloin here. A white test. Turnipboy. Can he see it on his screen? Yes, he can. Shot will come through. And Turnipboy goes up 5-2.
I mean, it's just workmanlike. He was onto him early for that weird path into statues by the Ambassador. It really looked like he was considering a bug and then thought better of it as the sniper wrapped around. But by then, the path to turn into statues was so extreme that Turnipboy seemed to be on him from that point forward and just looked like, again, just in total control.
Now spying as Salmon here. Maybe... I don't know if Turnipboy chooses. He told me he randoms every character back when I played him in Challenger. But, I mean, on pub, he picks Queen every game, so I don't know about that. Anyway, playing Salmon, the other AI that was in the 50-50 swap from the previous spy game. Have to see what he does this one in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
There are so few people that I am willing to believe genuinely random. I think when someone says they random, what they mean is they usually random. They almost always random. But there are some times where you have a general game plan. I want to finish or I want to frame, and certain characters just do not fit that game plan.
Early time ad, green test, nice and clean for Turnipboy. Highlights coming through from Degran for statue touches indicates that the time ad hasn't quite been nicked yet by the sniper, who needs some desperate points on the board, down by 3. Turnipboy going to step onto the other side of the conversation here for our first flirt. Why not? You've added 45 seconds to the clock, you can afford it.
You can, and this is a smaller conversation circle, so even though you're across, you can see a white test is still 24%. That's not bad. If you can even nudge up one more pixel, you can get into 3 flirt range with this next one, if you decide to timer flirt.
And get the green test as well. Would be pretty impressive stuff for Turnipboy. We can expect that Turnipboy will just allow the party to develop before making any decisions here. Fake contact. Considering the double agent has left this area, it's a well-considered fake contact, and this conversation's very full as well. Will Degran bite for a low light? There's not many low lights available, just small man from what I could see. Maybe that's just enough, but still, with so many people in a conversation that is fake. Oh, a bug attempt towards the sniper, and it looks like Degran was on top of it.
Perfectly serviceable bug, although again, it's one of those little things where you have to decide in the moment. Those drive-bys are actually becoming really treacherous, not for snipers like they were when they were new, but for spies, because they have to make that decision in a split second, and it's really easy to talk yourself into it being a good idea. Degran just really clean sniping there.
Very clean stuff coming through from Degran. And now, as we head on to gallery here, it looks like this series could be winding up. It really just depends on how clean the spies will be here for both of these competitors. Degran has the chance to fight first for their potential here, not too far off just yet at 5-3. And spying is Irish in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Degran has not played gallery yet this season. Turnipboy, very strong on sniper, but weak on but Turnipboy though very weak on spy here in particular, strong on sniper. Degran played 7 games of gallery last season and won all of them.
Degran, considering our options, we've been idling here for a while here, really wanting to know what to do. Commits the blue bookshelf. I always wonder why spies do this. Maybe it's because you could go and flirt and then flirt when they arrive back at bookshelf, justify being there again. But if Degran puts this book back, then it's just a lot of time sink for no reason.
Well, so I think it's sort of like the thing where you go to Windows to decide what to do next. I think maybe that's it. It's like maybe this will lead to something, maybe something will present itself, maybe there'll be a pile up in front of me and I'll do a microfilm, but maybe I'll just think about it.
That's 4 read cycles. 5 read cycles. A transfer at blue bookshelf. Okay. That's a little bit too long, but Turnipboy didn't shoot you, so it doesn't matter.
Well, he's got a lot of other stuff to track on gallery, and in this case, he's been nailing him for the hard tells. He hasn't had to do really anything like that, anything etiquette related.
Gonna step into conversation with a flirt. Almost got bounced back out of it because it's so full. But it doesn't matter. 51% flirt, it's all good. And now we're back in a position where potentially we've got time to do stuff. General stepping into that conversation there doesn't look good. And Turnipboy potentially not going to shoot you for some of these weird little things that can happen, but certainly going to be paying attention to them and going, huh? Okay. Yeah. And they'll weigh in your mind later on. Fingerprint attempt fails for Degran, unfortunately. There is another fingerprint at green bookshelf. We'll have to see if that's something that Degran attempts. He did actually put the briefcase down very early as well. But I'm not sure that's too much of an issue in this match.
Yeah, probably not. And we still have blue book in hand. Or microfilm, rather. It's just sitting there, and we have a minute left. And that's just looming over you right now. Are you going to get away with that second half or not?
Looks like we are going to attempt to now, with a fingerprint at the green bookshelf as well. It's a very good time to head on over. Oh, we missed the pad. Did Turnipboy notice it? It didn't seem like he did. Here's the fingerprint. No shot from Turnipboy. Here comes the microfilm attempt from Degran. A white test. It is definitely visible on camera, the head shake. But again, no shot. What is Turnipboy looking at? He's so focused on another character here.
Well, the ambassador's in the middle of the screen, and the guest list is bouncing around.
I think Walt was his top suspect, and they've just been knocked out by a contact here from Degran. 85% on the flirt. We need to finish that. Queen, where are you going? Looks like towards the conversation. We bounce straight back into conversation here. Now all we need to do is head down to that statue at the front with the fingerprint on it, and we could have a spy win here on gallery, and it would be fairly clean. Maybe a little bit too much tunnel vision onto an AI from Turnipboy. The highlight comes through for the statue. Here comes the fingerprint. It's done just in time. There will not be overtime. How on is Turnipboy for this shot here? Doesn't seem like he is at all. Degran with a spy win on gallery.
Absolutely huge. I mentioned quick pickup, and that's exactly why they really wanted to get that in with no overtime beeps, because if overtime starts on gallery and you're at a statue, you can just be the default shot like we saw earlier. And once again, Degran wins a game by letting a statue fingerprint sit and then getting it in just under the wire.
That is huge for Degran here. If you can convert the sniper win, then you head onto the final map with a potential to take things home. High Rise of all venues, such a swingy place to be. 3 of 5, anything can happen. Turnipboy really needs to keep this spy game as clean as possible and make it work. As Rocker on the gallery in 3, 2, 1, play it.
Little bit of an issue there from Turnipboy. Obviously, that white microfilm, I think, is a missed opportunity. It wasn't super visible, it's just the top of the head, but it was a white, and the head tilt was very noticeable. But there have been so few mistakes from Turnipboy, and it's crazy that they missed one moderately suspicious thing here on gallery, and it cost them a game, and now suddenly they need to spy to avoid a tie.
Yeah, this is crazy. This is truly a position that Degran can make a comeback from. All they need is a converted sniper win here on the gallery, and you're onto a very swingy venue to finish it off. Very full conversation here. The double agent has stepped on in. There are a couple of lowlights available, about 5 at this point, and maybe Turnipboy thinks that's too many. 5 or 6, actually. Certainly a lot. He will consider that it's too many. Turnipboy gets the really early flirt for 51%. It's a good place to start. Bit of a reject chain happening as well. Turnipboy, will we go for the purloin? No, just rejecting instead.
Worth pointing out, I mentioned Degran had not played gallery this season, but was 7 for 7 last season. That's 8 for 8 now. And when I say that, I don't mean a spy or sniper. I mean total. They have not lost an SCL gallery game in 8 games.
Gallery, a bit of a good luck charm. Surprised that we don't see it more often. Potentially it's banned. And Turnipboy let it through. Second flirt to 85%. Turnipboy walking past the ambassador. Not going to attempt the bug. It's a cute little rebound path into the statue there. Maybe not 100% justified or anything, but it doesn't look terrible from the sniper's point of view, and it's something that could just pull a little bit of suspicion off of you. This is a fingerprintable statue as well, and we needed to hit the green test, and we do. So this is huge for Turnipboy. 2 inspects and a fingerprint from a difficult fingerprint, and with a chance to get another difficult fingerprint from a drink as well.
This is just classic Turnipboy, not just in other matches, but in tonight's match. Just steady progress across multiple fronts. You never know what missions they're going to go for. Just inconspicuous,
oh, he
relentless.
hit it as well. Green
That's huge.
Test, double difficult fingerprint. And if Degran is on top of these fingerprints, then I will be amazed. That's going to be the seduce done. All we need now is a contact and inspects, and this could be another spy win for Turnipboy. Look who just showed up. Double Asian is here. The contact comes through for Turnipboy. There's no SDA in the bottom conversation. So many lowlights available to Degran if he wishes to take them. You can see them coming through here.
Yep. But 2 highlights are in that conversation with you. So it's not narrowed down. It's not like it could only be you. And now if you go to this front-facing statue, the first of those 2 twos, so that you can't be shot for a potential body block swap. I just don't see how you take that shot there. Even if you can catch 2 difficult fingerprints, it's not a high percentage play to A, look for them, and then B, shoot for them.
How does Turnipboy finish this? You would expect the inspect at the front-facing statue, like you mentioned, and it is going to be just that. 30 seconds left on the clock, and oh, wow. Doesn't even matter, because it looks like our AI our second highlight was just too suspicious. Degran takes the shot onto her.
Yeah, in this case, actually, the fact that it was a quote-unquote bad banana bread, it works fine because two other suspects were already in there. That means that you're going to get way more heat on all of you and the other two in there with you. And in this case, that manifests in a shot on Irish, but I don't think it was going to matter. That was just going to be a win. Good luck getting two difficult fingerprints.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Wasn't quite finished there. I think had one set of inspects, had the contact potentially, and that was going to be their first fingerprint. So must have seen something else to Gran. But
well,
very unfortunate shot does come through. The wrong shot there.
Yeah.
Now you have to win another spy game to be in it for a tie here. Turnipboy at match point. Let's have a look at the missions. Looks like it's standard. Bug, contact, inspect, seduce, and fingerprint here on High Rise. This is the I guess the maximized mission set to ensure that an AI has a chance at finishing.
It is, and in this case, it's not like Pub. You don't want to necessarily leave Purloin on here because Bug is more viable here on this 3.5 variant than it is on Pub 3.5 because of the different viewing angles.
All right, well, let's see what Degran does on this high-rise match to pull off a tie here. Turnipboy looking for a win and a shot at the tournament of position from bronze. It's a hard task. 3, 2, 1, playing it. Turnipboy desperately needs a win here. There's so much competition in bronze, and his next matchup after this is Ryu, one of the favorites for the division as well. Certainly at the beginning of the season was considered to be.
Yeah, Degran, good, but you were probably penciling this in as a win if nothing too crazy happens. Unfortunately, A, a lot of crazy stuff has happened, and B, Degran has played really, really well. Absolutely deserves to be here, but if you're Turnipboy, this is a match you were expecting to win and you need to win.
That was a very long offer from Toby. 10 seconds in total. Not entirely sure if Turnipboy watches these things, but it's never good to get burnt on a spy game that you need to win through very simple housekeeping stuff. First flirt was only 27% as well. High Rise is, of course, a venue that has a lot of time on it and not much to do, so you can kind of just chill out, time a flirt from across the conversation.
Yep, and it actually makes it viable to track flirts, and it does make things like that long reject particularly dangerous because it's one of the venues where the sniper actually can be pretty well incentivized to look for things like that, a little more than they normally would.
Quite a few highlights as well early with statue touches here. Degran potentially will keep that in mind, knowing that Turnipboy highlights for any statue interaction could just play a calm and collected game and look for an AI to be shot.
Well, we're in a good position for a drive-by bug if the ambassador comes by. Oh boy, Turnipboy's already looking at Queen. Could be done any time. I think a well-placed banana bread right here would win Degran the game.
Safety off onto Queen, very telling. Potentially didn't like the entry into conversation, has a very strong buggable arm as well. The second flirt out of Degran here is a green test, making us come back into 3 flirt potential. And if you're Turnipboy right now, it doesn't make any sense. If Queen's the spy, why isn't she talking? She's not flirting, she's not contacting. Turnipboy very capable of making decisions on the fly of why something doesn't line up.
Yeah,
And right now, Queen definitely doesn't line up.
But as you mentioned, so much time. Spies can sit there for a minute and do nothing to try to build that narrative so that when they do finish, when the banana bread comes off, when they complete their inspects, that there's a little bit of doubt in your mind while the mission win countdown is going. So Degran's certainly capable of that, but you're right, it's a bit of a gambit if it is the spy.
Degran going to step to the window here. 55 seconds left on the clock, and we haven't finished just yet. Looks like that's going to be a fingerprint coming through for General.
Uh-oh.
Turnipboy potentially has a hard decision on him in just a second here. Who the spy is, very difficult to know. That looks like a second flirt as well onto Walt, who's just next to at the window, painting window. 95% on our flirt. There's no way Degran finishes. We are really
DA's
waiting
back in.
and hoping. DA is in, offering to...
Queen's talking.
Queen's talking, no contact just yet. Degran needs to make a decision of contact or bust. General stepping into conversation. This could be perfect. Here comes the real contact, but General's outside of it. And the low light's going to come through as well. The only possible spy is Queen, but it doesn't quite line up. And Turnipboy doesn't look like he's taking the shot either. The bug attempt comes through from Wheels. It connects somehow. That's unbelievable. Can Degran get a flirt as well? Attempts it. Turnipboy takes the shot onto Degran. A rush and a half for the man, but it's not enough to get past Turnipboy. And that's going to be a series win for him.
We need to please unpack that last 20 seconds again. Let's take another look at that. If anything ever called for an instant replay. Oh, hell, holds the shot on Queen, forces Degran to go hog wild. He does. He reaches the mission win countdown, but Turnipboy sees it all and takes the shot. What a save.
Unreal sniper play from Turnipboy. The patience burnt him on Aquarium, but here on High Rise, it leads to the correct shot. And Turnipboy takes the series 7-4 in excellent style.
That's absolutely amazing. Turnipboy needed that so bad. He was almost spying on High Rise there just for a draw potentially. That would have been absolutely devastating to their chances in bronze. Instead, it's the win they needed. Way more dramatic than you expected. Certainly coming out of that with a lot more respect for your opponent as Degran, who played a tremendous set. But Turnipboy basically made 2 or 3 mistakes all night.
Yep. Anyway, with that is the cast for today. Anything else either you want to add?
I mean, after watching Screw Loose and Watermeat duke it out, my matchup versus Screw Loose becomes even more imperative to the Silver Division. It basically decides who wins it.
All right.
And after watching the people in bronze and the people in silver and even the people in challenger, it becomes all the more imperative that they stay in those divisions far away from me as long as possible. Yep. And on that note, the only other thing I want to say is #GoKlitos.
I'll do my best.
For those who don't know, Klitos has an upcoming match with KCM. If he wins it, someone other than KCM, I won't say their name, will make the finals. So I'll be rooting for you, buddy. We'll have that cough looked at, by the way. Coming down with something.
All right.
Luck,
anyway, once again, that is our cast. Thank you, casters.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
Spy Party competitively casting will be back tomorrow. I'm not quite sure what time or what games, but sometime tomorrow in the Pacific PM ish 5, 6. I don't know.
Should be the standard 5 o'clock. It'll be the same time, but not the same games, and I will be there as well. You're going to get more of me than you can handle this weekend.
I guess Game of Thrones is done, so we no longer need to worry about that.
Game of Thrones is done. Softball doesn't interfere. I'm wide open. I will either be jubilant on cast or stifling back tears, depending on what you do. So come to watch me, one or the other.
Yep. All right. Thank you all. We'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.